Welcome back to Disney Disasters, the show where I put my mind, body, and general sanity on the line in the interest of reviewing and critiquing every Disney Channel original movie. We've got a very spooky day planned as we take on the entire Halloweentown series, just in time for January. Let's start the damage control. So Halloweentown is one of the most popular Disney Channel original series. Its overall popularity is only rivaled by High School Musical, and it's also been a dark, evil presence that's been looming over me since I started this series. I knew at one point I was gonna have to tackle these movies, and I knew if I hated the first one, I'd have 3 more to sit through after the fact. And that is a truly scary thought. Ultimately, I decided it would be better to tackle them all at once. All 4 movies, 1 video. So, that being said, let's start at the beginning. One last time. Spider-Verse reference, fuck you! The original Halloweentown is a fairly straightforward movie. 3 siblings discover their eccentric grandma is actually a witch from a horror-themed town known as Halloweentown. The trio hitch a ride with Grandma and explore the wacky town, while also uncovering a conspiracy to destroy the world of mortals. It basically feels like an extended episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. Except without any charm or character. Yeah, I said it, fuck you. Halloweentown is a one-trick pony, and that one trick is... It's Halloween! Halloween! The trio of kids don't have much going for them. The only memorable character out of the 3 is the boy, whose whole thing is he's smart and annoying. The grandma's pretty good, but she doesn't get much to do. She's said to be this powerful witch, but we don't get to see her do anything impressive. And the villain had potential, but he doesn't get to do anything fun near the end. So it all hangs on their one trick, Halloween. Ultimately, while it kind of works, it feels like it doesn't go far enough. The feeling of Halloween does permeate the entire film, with the music being the real unsung hero of this picture. But even when they're in Halloweentown, it's just not enough. Halloweentown isn't interesting enough of a location to carry the movie, since it pretty much boils down to a normal place except a bunch of people are dressed up in costumes. Sure, some of the costumes aren't bad, but they're not enough to carry a film. It's a shame too, because if this movie had a decent story behind it and the Halloween gimmick was just flavor, it could have been very memorable. Instead, it relies too hard on its one Halloween gimmick, and it just kind of falls apart. Everything else about the movie just feels like an afterthought. Hell, there's a plotline in there about how the mother has been hiding the daughter's magic powers from her. And the fact she's done this means the daughter could have missed her opportunity to ever become a witch. But because they don't do anything with this, it just becomes more of a subplot, when really it should be the main emotional point of the film. It only gets mentioned a couple of times in the beginning, once during the middle, and once at the end to wrap it all up. And they're not as big emotional scenes. It's done in the typical tone of a teenager whining about not getting their way. The story really does feel like an extended episode of a bad TV show. There's just not enough weight or emotion behind it to make you care. If I had to summarize the first Halloweentown movie in just one word, that word would be missed opportunity. Everything just kind of feels underdeveloped, underthought, and rushed, leading to not a bad experience, but ultimately an empty one. It goes in one ear and goes out the other. Now, let's watch them make all the same mistakes in the sequel. Out of all of these movies, Halloweentown 2 is easily the stupidest, and that's really saying something. And I'm not saying good stupid, I'm saying bad stupid. It very much feels like they had no real ideas except it needs to be a sequel to the first one. So let's pretty much make that again. The mother's still against the concept of Halloweentown, the grandma's still against the mother, the brother's still smart and annoying, and the girls are still there. There is a change in the fact that the oldest girl can now use magic and is kind of the de facto main character. It does help now that they've established who the lead character is and given her powers so she can actually do something. This does kind of leave her siblings to be forgotten about. Hell, the big twist of the last movie was that the boy can use magic too, and he only uses it once in this entire movie, and that's right at the end. Regardless, let's get on to the story. 2 years after the events of the first movie, Marnie and Granny return to Halloweentown to find that it's been cursed, with all of the monsters turning into humans. Kalabar, the villain from the first movie, is plotting to do the same to the human world. Except, turn humans into monsters, because turning humans into humans would be redundant. Meanwhile, the mother's being seduced by a frog monster, and Marnie has a monster boyfriend, and there's time travel and something. Yeah, it's stupid as hell, but that doesn't mean it has to be bad stupid. But as I said, it is bad stupid. Fuck you. This movie, while not taking the Halloween aspect that much further, does take the weirdness further. The bad kind of stupid I'm referring to is not goofy spells or weird concepts. No, my issue is the screenplay. This movie feels like it was 2 drafts away from being actually finished. For instance, there's this rule. They can't travel between Halloweentown and the normal world except on Halloween. Okay, that's fine. However, another big plot point of the movie is time travel. So, when we get back from time traveling and they're about to go back to the mortal world, the clock strikes midnight and they can't get out of Halloweentown. But they literally just got back from time traveling. So why can't you just time travel to 5 minutes ago? 'Cause they could totally do that. The whole movie is filled with stuff like this. Just weird, confusing plot points and broken ideas that don't lead anywhere. Just stupid writing plot holes that wouldn't be allowed in a 3rd grader's English assignment that somehow made it into this movie. This movie is so poorly written it actually undoes stuff from the first movie. The first one ends with the mother saying the grandma should move in with them in the mortal world. However, at the end of this one, she says grandma should move back to Halloweentown. For no real reason. If the first Halloweentown was this team missing a shot at something good, Halloweentown 2 is them taking another shot and shooting themselves in the foot. But hey, let's see if they learnt their lesson in the 3rd movie. I'll say this about the 3rd entry in the series. They certainly decided to take it in a new direction. Halloweentown 3 feels very fresh compared to the second one, which ultimately felt like a retread of the first with some new ideas. However, the 3rd one, they do a complete 180. This time, a bunch of monsters come into the mortal world to attend high school with our leads from the last movie. Marnie and the boy one now have to chaperone a bunch of monsters in their normal mortal high school. Between movies, our lead character Marnie has actually grown a character. Now she's this super political feminist ditz who's championing monster rights. Funnily enough, the actress and movie actually pull it off well. So props to you, movie, for giving our lead character a character. It only took you 2 full movies. As I said, the real strength of Halloweentown 3, or Halloweentown High, is its willingness to do new stuff. Hell, they just kind of ditched the 3rd sibling this time around, cause she's not really contributing much. There's only one real issue with this movie. But unfortunately, it's real bad. See, with the monsters coming to the mortal world to attend school, the obvious metaphor they're going for throughout this movie is discrimination. And it's just done so poorly. Here's the thing. It's a Disney Channel original movie. I'm not expecting some real deep and thought-provoking take. All you need to do is say, racism's bad, don't be a dick. That's it. That's the bare minimum. Instead, they really fuck it up. See, instead of the monsters just attending high school, the monsters magically transform into human form and attend high school posing as exchange students. 'Cause, stupid. It's just such a dumb way to ruin your simple message. It's the equivalent of doing a desegregation movie but making all the kids go in whiteface so they fit in. Some people may be thinking I'm reading too much into the desegregation metaphor, but no, there are so many scenes talking about discrimination and tolerance and all of this shit that doesn't belong. And come on, using literal monsters as the metaphor for minorities, it's just a stupid idea to start with. There's also this subplot about the nerd boy one starting to date a monster but then realizes she's a monster and finds her ugly, and she finds him ugly, and they end up deciding just to be friends cause they're both ugly. Like, come on. If you remove the political commentary, that would be fine. Hell, ending a relationship on, we don't find each other attractive, let's just be friends, could actually be funny and work as a message if played right. But the racism and discrimination metaphor just makes it broken. That's the issue with Halloweentown High. Because of its metaphor, it's broken. Just ignoring the political and social commentary leaves you with an okay-ish movie with a bunch of pointless scenes preaching about politics and tolerance. So either way, it's a double-edged sword. Alright, let's wrap this up with lucky number 4. Halloweentown 4, or Return to Halloweentown, kinda just sucks. And luckily, I don't have to try that hard on this one, cause most people agree this one sucks. See, for Halloweentown 4, they just kinda said, fuck it, let's be Harry Potter. And while we're at it, let's replace our lead actress with some other chick. Fans did not take this well, and the 4th Halloweentown movie is considered non-canon and rejected by the fandom or some shit. I don't know, guys. Let's talk about the movie. Marnie and the boy one are now attending college in Halloweentown, and they get into some shenanigans. There's a magic box, some secret society, more time travel or some shit. There's a dominatrix Asian group of women that put mind control on the boy one. I really don't care. See, the issue with Return to Halloweentown is they really do go all in with the just being Harry Potter now idea. So, the Halloween is lost. You may as well have just called this movie Return to Town, cause there ain't no fucking Halloween in there. Yeah, there's a couple of monsters in the high school, and I mean a couple, but other than that, it's all witches and warlocks, evil teachers and broomstick rides. And nobody cares. I didn't mention it so much after the first one, but yeah, Halloweentown 2 and 3 also had the Halloween vibe really going for them. Even when they were at their weakest, the Halloween theme was still there. But for Halloweentown 4, it's just gone. Don't get me wrong, the movie isn't terrible. All of these Halloweentown movies have fast enough pacing that they're not Scream Team levels of unbearable to sit through. And this movie in particular, the story is actually written well enough that it didn't make me too angry. But there was just nothing to get invested in, nothing to care about. It just moved on. The pacing is fast enough that you're not getting angry or just sitting there waiting for it to end, but it's not good either. The first 3 Halloweentown movies had a fatal flaw. The first movie, it was a lack of ambition. The second, it was a bad screenplay. And the third, it was a ham-fisted metaphor. Return to Halloweentown, however, it's just... nobody cares. The Halloween's gone, the lead actress is gone, the story's boring, and it just feels like bad Harry Potter. Wanna hear me talk about it more? Go watch the first impressions video. Fuck you. The Halloweentown movies felt like a case where I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. I did not have a great time with the first 3 movies. However, after watching the 4th, it was clear to see the Halloween flavor did add something, at least. But ultimately, even with that Halloween taste, they still had their fatal flaws. It's a shame, because if this series was ironed out more, I think it could have been great. This could have been like a more child-friendly version of Nightmare Before Christmas, where the Halloween aesthetic is more for whimsy than scares. But instead, the movies just didn't try hard enough. As for the ranking order, I think I'm going to put them just below Xenon in order of 3rd, 1st, then 2nd. I'm putting the 3rd at the top because giving Marnie more character and changing up a lot of the formula they'd been playing with really did help it feel fresh. And I'm putting the 2nd at the bottom because a bad screenplay is something that really pisses me off. When you've got a story with a million plot holes that could be fixed if you just think about them for a second, well, that just screams lazy to me. And I'm tossing the 4th one below Cheetah Girls and above Up, Up and Away. It's just a tasteless movie. It didn't actively make me angry, but it had some fun-ish moments, so I guess it's not awful. And that's it. 4 movies, 1 series, and 1 video I truly regret making. Personally, I'm looking forward to getting back to basics next month, with a new disaster I've been waiting to talk about since I started this series. As for which movie it is, well, I'm not gonna say, but anything is possible. Okay, it's Kim Possible. Once again, fuck you.